know that this young man lived right not far from me. I have known him all of my life because he is my first cousin. Actually, he's my double cousin. So when he comes to you, give him a great hand as he comes and share with you what he has learned on his journey coming this way. Give him a hand, please.
Thank you. All right. Thank you all for allowing me to become a part of your program today. I want to thank Charlotte College and putting on a special event like that. But okay, getting back to my cousin Mary. Yeah, we are double first cousins. I know y'all see the resemblance, somewhat. And initially, back then, two the female, her mom and my mom are sisters, and my dad and her dad are brothers. So they always got us mixed up when I was growing up in East End and Little Rock because we was double first cousins. And I do appreciate, Mary, that introduction that you gave me, but I'm a very humble person, okay? And what I want to touch on today, this is what I want to touch on today. I want to touch on, initially, developing a positive paradigm shift. I'm going to tell y'all a little bit about my background. And some of you old schoolers are OGs. When I make mention of this here, y'all will know exactly what I don't do war stories. I hate war stories, okay? But what I do, I tell young generation, if you want to find out exactly what was going on during that time period, ask some OGs and some old schoolers. But the areas that I used to frequent was East End 6th Street, College Station the Strip. Okay, I used to frequent the real Highland Court. Yeah, the real Granny Mound. I'm telling you like it is, and Wright Avenue. So those are areas I used to frequent. So for you younger people that don't know that area, ask some old schoolers about that area. Okay. So as far as I'm gonna get to you on the war stories, because see, I've been having to repent over the last 40 years since I decided to make this paradigm shift. Okay, so that's for me to do. But what I want to talk about today, which is so, through my life experiences, I always like to talk about people doing self-development for themselves, because that's what it took for me. And basically what I mean by that is developing a paradigm shift. When I was frequenting those areas and different things, that was my paradigm. Basically what I mean by that was my belief system. And Mary from my experiences, I almost got myself caught up real bad. Got myself caught up real bad one time and almost did again. But it was through praying from my mom, her mom, and different people like that saying, oh man, you can do better. You could do, you could position yourself to help instead of being a hindrance. So what I did, my cousin, Betty Goodwin, finally, after all these years, she had me to go to Philander Smith College, okay? And I went to Philander Smith College. I was past African Avenue Honor Society president. I did some parliamentarian work, okay. And so years and years ago, my wife, I forgot to introduce my wife. That's an old saying, that's my pot liquor cooler right there. So some of you all that don't understand that, ask some old people about that, okay? But she told me, and then later on, my wife told me, she said, we've been together 25 years now, right? And she said, baby, you want to go back to school. I said, yeah, I want to go back, She said, well, if I go back and get my master's, if you go back and complete yours, because I had started on it at University of Arkansas Little Rock, executive MBA program, but I got sick. So I did. I went back and got my master's. And now, if I hadn't got sick last year, I would have completed my doctoral studies this December. But I'll be finishing up in July, okay? So just give y'all a little background. Like I tell a lot of young people, when I talk to them, because talking to young people and older people, you have to sort of balance yourself. So when I tell a lot of young people, and I'm speaking to a lot of young people, I sort of have to equate some of the songs and different things. so they can get the gist before I start speaking. So, and you older people that don't understand this here, it's by DJ Quick. Now I'm finna shoot y'all some real stuff, okay? So ask the young kids about that. They know about that. What I want to talk about today is attitude. It's very important. There's no way that I would be where I am if I didn't start recognizing what type of attitude I need to bring. And I always tell people, you can have everybody to come in and say, oh, you need to do this here, you need to do that. You know, until you change your attitude in that process, that's all it is. Because you know what? A lot of people think that I'm a coach. Basically, let me put it like that. I told a lot of the young kids that I work with in East End doing the gang banging. They doing good, a lot of them. Some of them I lost two. Some doing real well. One getting ready to go up to be a fire chief. One of them getting ready, he's a pastor, you know, different things of that nature. So when they see me, they see my wife and I out, and they say, oh, there go Mr. Jones, there go Mr. Jones, he did this, he did this. I said, holy man, come always giving them teachable moments. I said, holy man, don't put all that on me. I said, that ain't fair. I said, it's not fair to you and not fair to me. Then I know they get to thinking, oh, what Mr. Jones finna do now? He's finna give me a teachable moment. I know that's what he's finna do. I said, well, you got to realize that you had this individual that was in our group that I was talking to. What did they do? You was in the group. I disseminated information to. What did they do? What did you do? I said, always remember, I was just a coach. That's all I did. So coaching, most of the time, is only going to involve 25 to 30% of the work. You did the 80%. Let me tell you the reason why I have to tell them that, because coming from where they come from, I tell them three things, and I'm going to touch on it briefly. Teach them how to develop high self-esteem, high self-concept, and high self-confidence. So what I do, that gives them the opportunity to say, okay, I see what Mr. Jones is talking about. I said, if it wasn't from you changing your paradigm to high self-esteem, high self-concept, and high self-confidence, you wouldn't have made it. So I say, always take that praise too. And I said, when you find people always want to say, oh yeah, I did that, be leery of that, okay? Because they didn't always do it. You did the work, okay? So back to attitude. This is what I present a lot when I was in my meetings to a lot of my youth, and also when I go do speaking engagement and things of that nature. And I believe in this. Now let me tell y'all this. You know, I'm gonna try to give y'all a lot of information, probably gonna make you feel good, but you're not gonna feel good as me. You know why? Because I've been doing it for over 40 years. Y'all got to find the process of how to do it, okay? See, so that's good. That's a good thing, because now I'm trying to stretch you a little bit. You know, see, so you can say, but this is a saying that I always help people with about attitude. What is my attitude towards my relationship? Think about that. When I was roaming all those areas, I didn't have a good attitude in relationships. What is my attitude towards my health? Well, when I was roaming all that, 'cause I did a lot of things. I'm not going to tell you a lot of raw stuff, but there was a lot of things going on with me back then. Okay? I didn't have a good attitude towards my health. What is my attitude towards my physical appearance? Well, I didn't too much care about that, because I've always been a person that worked. You know, once I decided to do this paradigm shift about 30-some years ago, I always worked out. I turned 63, you know. And what I believe in, when I decided to do this paradigm shift, it's three concepts I follow. Religiously, spiritual, mental, and physical. You know? And the reason why I say spiritual, because it's an internal working that I have to do on a continual basis. What is my attitude towards my appearance? That was okay. I didn't have no good reverence about that, because I've always worked out. What is my attitude towards my future? That was a problem. That was a real problem for me. And then last, what is my attitude towards myself? You know? Because it's all about self. It's all about you. You know, and you can sit back and have everybody to come in and give you all the praise and all those different things, but if you don't understand your attitude about yourself, It's still going to be very difficult. Anybody follow me on that? Y'all feel it? Man, that's all you're going to do right now. You got to work it. Let me give you another little thing that have helped me out in my years of progress. Philosophy. Did you not know your philosophy determines mostly everything about you? You know? And it's going right back to attitude. Right back to attitude. Let's hear it. Your philosophy determines your thoughts. My thoughts, back there, that was my philosophy. Your thoughts determine your attitude. See how important this play? Intertwine. Your attitude determines your behavior. Your behavior pattern determines your action. Think about that. Let that sink in. You know? Because, see, until you understand that, and by the way, I told Mary, I'm going to leave some of these here things that I'm presenting, but y'all got to go to her to get them to run some copies off. Because, see, basically what I like to do is get people to do the initiative on themselves. You know, do it yourself. You know? See? So, those are very important. And you have to sit back and think about that and then process daily. Choice. Now, the reason why I started with this on the attitude is because this is going to deal with the choice. Okay? I choose to live by choice, not by chance. When I was out there in the streets, I was living by chance. To make change, not excuses. To be motivated, not manipulated. To be useful, not used. To excel, not compete. I chose self-esteem, not self-pity, because I had a lot of that. I chose to listen to my inner voice, but you cannot do that until you start understanding your philosophy and your attitude. Not random opinions, and I chose to listen to my inner voice, not random opinions of others. So that's the biggest problem we got. We always listen to others. I tell my wife all the time, I said, baby, I ain't got time to be dealing with these 3 P's and T. Okay, good. I like that. I tell young kids that all the time. I say, you have to understand that you can't control the 3 P's and T. So when I'm talking to people, they'll just sit there. Now, I just sit there too. Okay. Oh, Mr. Jones, you want me to say, yes. What are the 3 P's and T? People, person, places, and things. I don't entertain that. You know? Because that's not going to help me. Because that's your external community. Your external community, you can't control. It can control you. My internal community, the 3 concepts I told you, spiritual, mental, and physical. I can combine that with anything that I'm doing as far as controlling my attitude, making my choices, and things of that nature. So initially what I'm saying, young people, and us, okay, I don't like to put the older in there, is that you have work to do. You're going to continue to have work to do. This is what I do. I've done this for 40 years in this paradigm shift that I'm doing. So, one of the things, and this might be interesting, self-concept, self-confidence, and self-esteem. I tell people all the time, you need to recognize that. Because, if you don't recognize it, you're not going to be able to complete it or do a paradigm shift in it. So what I do when I talk to when I go and talk to a lot of younger generation and younger youth, I put together what they call, try complete these sentences with validation, at least 3 each, that verify or substantiate feelings of yourself. I still have this right here. Sometimes I have to retweak it. But see, this is when you get into you to understand. I'm very good at what? 3 things I like about myself. 3 things that make me feel good about myself. and honestly assess that. And sometimes you're going to have to go and change, and sometimes you're going to move beyond that, which I have. But see, that's very important. So everything I'm telling you right now is workable application. So you can sit back here and listen and acknowledge it all you want. If you don't put it to use, it's to no avail. But guess what? You're in a bigger dilemma than someone that hasn't heard it because you've been stretched. So it's going to cause you a little bit more anxiety, a little bit more stress, because you say, I heard this, and I need to do this. So I have this here, and if y'all want some of this information, matter of fact, what I'll do, I'll leave a lot of the information with that, and then y'all have to pick it up from Mary or someone like that, so that y'all want it. What do y'all think about that? How do y'all feel about that so far? Yes. Yes. Yes.
So you're saying in order to find yourself, do a self-evaluation, is that what you're saying?
Yes, correct. Well, you're going to do a self-evaluation every day.
Do you have the questions that will actually get to, because I've done this before, but do you
Right.
have the actual questions that will help you find yourself?
I'm going to get to some of that, right quick, okay? And a lot of time what we want, a lot of time you already have the questions. You already know the answers. Because if you sit back and say, well, I need questions to how to self-evaluate. Well, guess what? I guess all of us in here, we Google savvy, right? Yeah. Yeah, see, so sometimes it's just good to take the initiative. That way you get your buy-in on yourself. Not just waiting for someone else, just like I was telling my young man. Don't put everything on me. It's certain things you can do, to do it. But one of these here things are, I'm going to put this to you. Think of it like this. Because most of the time, all of us are in crisis. I like this one real well. Matter of fact, I had to tell my son about this the other day. I got stepson and a son, and both of them is in Texas. One is an IT reverse engineer for City of Dallas, and the other one, he's retired military, and he worked for the Federal Reserve. But I still have to work with him, because I'm old school. I have to work with him. But I had to talk to him about this because some certain situations was going on. Listen to this. Crisis. Who all been in crisis? Who all been in crisis? No crisis? Oh, it's just, yeah, okay. All of us been in crisis. Let me tell you what crisis is. In every crisis, there is a message. Crises are nature's way of forcing change, breaking down old structures, shaking loose negative habits. So that's what I had to do in my paradigm coming from East Side. So I had to do all that so that something new and better can take their place. Crisis is always painful, but transformation is rarely possible without them. Think about some of the crises that you've been through. It was painful, but you transformed. We must get into the flow. Your job on a continual basis is to get into the flow. Young people know what that is, the flow. Yeah, get into the flow. Do the work that is necessary to shape life changes so that they benefit you rather than better you or us. And it's an old saying, keep the faith, right? Well, okay. If that's all you got, that's all you got. Because it says, faith without work is dead. So the only thing you did is acknowledge something, got faith, and okay, bring it down, and it's not gonna happen. But I'm always adding some things to stuff. So I said, but faith without action is to no avail. That's all you got. That's all you got. So I'm gonna close with this. And this right here, I think, is just gonna top off everything about, I'm an insurance financial representative. I'm gonna get that out of the way right quick. Okay, so what I do, I work with families. I work with people in retirement. I help educate them and understand their retirement. and different things. We have a chapter. We have a chapter, and my wife is my coordinator. And we put money back off into the community. Martin Woodman of America last year put over $19.6 million back in the community. Over here in Little Rock, we did 1.7 million. My wife, I tell you, that's my pot liquor cooler right there. My wife, we have put back how much? About $5,000 back into different, funding project and matching funds and things, something like that. 6,500, right. Tell y'all this interesting story. I goes back to my junior high school, Booker Junior High School. You know what I'm talking about. She know what I'm talking about. She was there. Yeah. And so I wanted to do some matching fun, right? And I went back over there. Oh, man, it was just such a humbling thing, man, because I hadn't been there in 50 years, since 1969. So the lady told me, she said, Miss Ringo, she said, James, go ahead. We're going to do matching fun. So she said, go around and look around the school, and all this. I looked around. So I would go around there where my locker was. I said, well, she said, well, it's changed now because you got the, school age kids to 8th grades, right? So some of them not in there. Lo and behold, there was my locker, right over there in the corner. But what really got me was when I went down to the gym and reflecting how so many of us have passed on. And I was sitting down there on the bleachers, and I remember sitting in. I remember Leotis, all of us playing ball and stuff, and it was a humbling experience for me, and everything. So I knew that I was in the right place doing what I was supposed to do. You know what I mean? Because this is my pact that I made when I decided to bring my change. I said, okay then. Like one of the young ladies said, I wake up. I do 2 things in the morning. I said, God, thank you. You allowed me to wake up again with all my physical capacities. I can do all my basic needs. Think about it. How many people started like us yesterday is incapable of doing that today? So I do that every morning. I've been doing that for the last almost 40 years now. Right? Because see, guess what that does? That teaches you true humbleness. And you walk with it. Because guess what that does? That gives you the action part to walk with humbleness. And walking with humbleness is truly being grateful. Truly understanding humility and truly being grateful. So I don't worry about the 3 P's and T anymore. I'm done with that. Because see, I know I got a job that I got to do. And I was telling my wife, we was on our way down to visit the boys last year. We was gone about a week and a half. I was in Dallas. We was in North Houston, and then I had to go to San Antonio because I was doing my last residency for my school. So with that, I'm going to close. I'm getting a signal. I need to close. That's cool. But I'm just hoping that y'all got something. Okay. Let me give you the one last thing about winners and losers, and y'all gonna see how this will all cultivate in this process. Let me tell you what winners do. You cannot teach a man. Galileo says you cannot teach a man anything, but I put woman in it too. You cannot teach a man or woman anything. You can only help them to discover within themselves. That's the only thing you do. Now, a winner is one who responds authentically by being credible, trustworthy, responsive, and genuine, both as an individual and a member of society. A loser is one who failed to respond authentically. The authentic person experiences self-reality by knowing, being, and becoming a credible person, responsive person. Authentic people utilize their own unprecedented uniqueness and appreciate the uniqueness of others. Winners may lose ground, that's the crisis, and may even fail. Yet, in spite of setback, winners maintain a basic self-confidence. So those are just a few things that you got to be looking at as being a winner, okay? So with that, I hope that I was able to generate and make you feel good. Did you feel good? That's all you got right now because you got to work it. That's all you got, because I'm walking out here with mine, okay? Thank you all for listening to me, and I appreciate your attention.